want to bring in campus reform reporter Emily Sturge and political commentator Brylan Hollihan. Emily, let me begin with you. I want to share this. This is the president talking about political violence. And on the one hand, we want to celebrate people like Erica and the great many young voices like yours who are really trying to coalesce behind what's been a very, very powerful moment and a great message. On the other hand, to contrast, we're all dealing with the fallout from political violence. I want to get your reaction to the president talking about that just yesterday.
We're looking at the funders of a lot of these groups, and when you see the signs, and they're all beautiful signs made professionally, these aren't your protesters that make the sign in their basement late in the evening because they really believe it. These are anarchists and agitators, professional anarchists and agitators.
Professional anarchists and agitators. He made those remarks on Thursday. Does the president have this right when he says this is time to really focus not just on all the good that has come out of this terrible tragedy, but also to laser focus in on the root cause of how we ended up here?
We need to laser focus in on Generation Z because that's where political violence is such an issue. Look, our education system is excusing political violence. Social media is glorifying it, and now political violence is actually being normalized as a form of political debate. And a recent survey from Yale Institute's Buckley Institute found that nearly 40% of college students found that physical violence is actually justifiable when used to silence someone accused of hate speech. Now college students are seeing actual political assassination as a tactic to silence debate. It's no longer a tragedy, it's actually a tactic. America should be fearful of the point that we've gotten to, so I'm glad the president is bringing awareness to it.
Well, you really nailed it. Let me share this before I go over to Brylan Hollihan. Quinnipiac has a poll on political violence. Brylan, I want to get your reaction to it. It basically says this: how serious a problem do you think that politically motivated violence is today? Very serious, 71%. How did we get here? And in the 2 minutes we have left, how do we turn the corner, Brylan?
Kevin, we got here because Gen Z doesn't know how to talk to each other. We were raised to believe that politics and faith were taboo topics that you couldn't talk about at the dinner table, you couldn't talk about in public. Therefore, when we get frustrated with our political views, we assassinate somebody. We don't know how to talk to somebody in person, eye to eye, not through a phone screen. Well, we don't have to live like this, Kevin, is what I want to be really clear. It was just a few weeks ago that horrible shooting happened at the church in Minneapolis. It was 2 weeks ago that the horrible stabbing happened in the light rail train in North Carolina. And now we have Charlie Kirk being assassinated. We don't have to accept political violence. We don't have to live in a country where this is normal. We can love each other. We can actually have conversations with each other. What we have to do is make America talk again. We have to be having civil discourse, champion on college campuses, just like Charlie did, by actually having a free exchange of ideas. You didn't see the right, after Charlie's assassination, go and burn down Wendy's and loot CVS's. We actually started talking to each other more. We got down on our knees and prayed. That is how we save this country going forward, Kevin, not the way of the left with more violence.
I'm so glad you said that, because the contrast, Emily, could not be more stark. And it's such an important message to get out to Gen Z, because you're not just the next generation of leaders. We have to connect with them and let them know that you don't have to silence people you disagree with. They can have their opinion, you can have yours. 15 seconds left. I
mean, what we need to be fighting for here: faith, family values, traditional values that give young people purpose and steer them away from radical ideologies. That's the solution here.
Brylan, 15 seconds. You can wrap us up.
We are on college campuses all across this country. I kicked off my first campus speech last week at the University of Arkansas. A line of students outside at a packed auditorium that we couldn't even fit everybody in. Young people are off the sidelines, more energized than even they were in the 24 election. That's Charlie's legacy right there. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see, quite frankly. And again, what's really, I think, most encouraging is this idea of seeing so many young people come together and say, it's okay to have discourse. It's okay to have a conversation. I don't have to have you thrown off campus. I don't have to call in a bomb threat to silence you. We can talk, we can agree to disagree, and that's okay too. Great to see you both. Brylan Hollihan, I know you've been traveling a lot, my friend. Continued success as you continue to travel around the country. And Emily Sturge, thank you as well. We appreciate you both.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.